Back here on MLB Now, the Saint of Second Chances comes out soon on Netflix, September 19th. I can read it right there. It's on Mike Veeck, son of Hall of Famer Bill Veeck, beloved baseball owner, also a former longtime president of the Gold Clan Group. They used to have Charleston River Dogs, Hudson Valley Renegades. I used to call Renegades games. Mike Veeck himself joins us now. Mike, it's Brian Kenny. How are you?
Couldn't be better, thanks, Brian. The weather's nice here in Charleston. Things are looking good, so it's not quite as hot. How are you?
I'm doing all right. It's rainy up here. It's New Jersey, but otherwise it's just great. Mike, I remember speaking to you when I was back at ESPN. Your book, Fun is Good, came out. It's a great book on running a business or living your life. I want to start with that. Like, you've had that philosophy through your life, especially in your second chance, right? You're doing minor league baseball. How did that all go, and how is your philosophy going on that?
Well, I mean, after this pandemic, you can imagine that for the first time, fun is good is even more timely. No one's more astounded than I am. I came up with it simply because we were opening the St. Paul Saints 7 miles from the Metrodome. And if I had opened and said, come see great baseball, I'd have been out of business in 45 days. So we decided to dedicate everything to the fan experience, and it worked out. And then we found that it was applicable to any workspace, that, if you make it enjoyable and engaging, people will hang around and talented folks will join you. So it's worked really well at least for us over the last 30 years.
Yeah, tell me about what was the peak with the Saints then? Again, you were there, and that's you there on the left, kind of the forerunner of like what became that minor league experience, which is still like so beautiful. What was the high points of that?
Well, I think you have to start with Kevin Millar. We signed him. He was undrafted, and he went on to a 12-year career. So that took the caliber of play in independent ball up a notch. But in '96, when we signed Darryl Strawberry, that's when people really stood up and took notes, so that we were always confident that we could deliver a pretty good fan experience, a lot of laughs, good customer service. But when Strawberry came, and hit 18 home runs in 29 games, went to Columbus and hit 3 over the weekend, and then joined the Yankees and hit 11 and won a championship, that really suddenly said to people, we started getting scouted. Obviously, Jack Morris pitched for a half season for us. So that was really a high point when people started to sit up and pay attention to the baseball.
How much then, again, you're talking about kind of rogue baseball operative, does come from Bill Veeck? Like, why is that in the bloodline?
I think that, going back to my grandfather running the Cubs for, 14 years, he recognized that if you simply cater to the pure baseball fan, 35, 40% of your seats are filled. Doesn't matter what you do. But that number leaves 60% of the people to be exposed to this great game. And Dad was nothing if not pragmatic. And he recognized that you need to attract constantly new fans. And that was the philosophy that we kind of grew up with, that he grew up with his father, and that my son has grown up with us.
How much does that apply now? I mean, I'm just wondering, like, as far as capturing new fans, there's an initiative with Major League Baseball. We got to get kids playing baseball again. How much do you think that applies in the modern age?
I think it applies a tremendous amount. And I'll tell you why. Bill Murray's one of our partners. If you, as you know from firsthand experience, if you go to a Renegades game or you go to a Charleston River Dogs game or a Saints game, Bill Murray will sign an autograph. Those people go to movies. So they frequent his ballpark and they go to see his movies. It's more difficult to get a signature from a shortstop in Yankee Stadium than it is to get Bill Murray's autograph. And we have to flip that around. We have to make our heroes accessible for the youngsters, who want to reach out and touch and talk to them. And that's what the game needs, in my opinion, more than anything right now, is accessibility.
Interesting. All right. To go back and get back to the documentary, I know it's old ground. I think people know about it by now, but I'm actually, Mike, watching the Bee Gees documentary. And they're talking about the Bee Gees and how big they are, and then in comes Disco Demolition Night to kill disco. Like, what's your view of it now?
Well, I look back and I say, today And through today's lens, I would never have done it. But it was so tongue in cheek. You know, we'd done a month before, we'd done a disco dance contest, drawn 22,000 in a year when we were averaging 15. So it just seemed natural to go the opposite way and have a night for people who loved rock and roll and didn't like disco. So you know, it wins the best promotion of sports every year and the worst.
Right.
So I don't really know how to behave.
And so when you were going back and this documentary is being made and you rehash that, what did you learn about, like, even exploring or hearing from different people about that time?
Well, you suddenly realize that you are a person of your time. And at 28, I'd already kind of lost track of a younger demographic that was saying, we really don't like disco, and they took it seriously. And as I look back now and answer charges that it was homophobic or that it was racist, I understand how people feel through today's lens. But I can assure you, since it was my idea, I never envisioned anything like that. And I also didn't envision 100,000 people showing up on 35th and then Shields.
Yeah, right. Different times, clearly. It's amazing even to look back. I didn't expect to come up as I'm watching the Bee Gees and then suddenly see, oh, man, it's disco. Now I'm talking to you. And I'm like, disco demolition night again. So on your journey back, give us something in the documentary, your family coming back. You weren't really banned, but how difficult was it getting back involved and getting to where you wanted to be?
It was for 10 years, it was terribly difficult. And then Roland Hemond was on a flight with Van Schley, and they just purchased the Miami Miracle. Bill Murray, Van Schley, and Marv Goldklang. And Marv called me, as he said the other day, you know, we were partners in desperation. And, you know, I hadn't had a job offer in 10 years. Nobody returned any calls. And suddenly I had a ball club in the Florida State League to run, and I could start trying to rebuild, you know, what I laughingly call my career. But looking back, I can tell you, Brian, you look back at this and, you know, I played my dad in a couple of scenes in this, and I wasn't right for 2 weeks after I got home. I was like, holy cow. It really brings a lot of things to the surface that, you know, maybe I didn't deal with, and certainly didn't deal with the right way, but it was a cleansing experience. That's what I'll call it. I mean, my soul felt refreshed after.
Well, it's good. It's good to see you again. Good to hear from you. Can't wait to see it. Again, this is going to be out on Netflix in September. I look for Saint of Second Chances again. Anything to get in the soul of baseball, and you're a foremost proponent of that, Mike. So always a pleasure to speak with you.
Thanks so much. You all have a good day.
You too.